Hello. 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 Good morning, everybody. It's another beautiful day that the Lord has made. Ah, good morning, Raven. Glad to see you. Just got to say, you've come a long way, man. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back, buddy. Um, Shannon, how you doing? What's up, Tom? I'll add you here in a second. Um, Man, I just been thinking about, just waiting for people to come in, Tom. Um, I just been thinking about, like I know a lot of you guys personally, and so I don't even look at you guys like as subscribers, right? You guys are at the very least, you guys are my friends, right? And for most of you, even the newcomers, right? You guys are part of me, and every time I get on the phone with one of you guys, it's an hour and a half flies by, right? And so, you know, I'll say this, right? Um, I spent a lot. I mean, I put a lot. I'm not like, let's put it this way, like I'm not bored, right? I'm like always busy all the time. So when I carve out time for people, it's because you guys are worth it. You guys have huge value to me, and so it always weighs on my heart when um when people are upset with me or not, you know what I mean, or processing something or whatever. It's hurtful a little bit. But I'll say this, right? Is I know that it's always for the best, right? And it's always for personal growth. And I know that at some point, like we all just dust off our spirits and we show up and we all just are better for it, And sometimes it could be over nothing, just nothing. And it's just one little hump that we got to get over in order to grow to that next level, because a lot of times what we'll do is we'll get in a situation and then we'll get exposed and then we run away, right? Because we don't want to get hurt. But what we need to do is suck it up, dust off our spirit, show up again, and get over it. Because that's what we are, a family, And so um, that's all I'll say about that. And of course, nobody likes to have to live with stuff, right? But this is reality, and we're running out of time. Like if I had a million years to wait on people, you know what I mean? Then okay, fair enough, right? But we are running out of time. There's it. Go watch that show with Jake if you if you think that this is we are in the end. There's no doubt. All right, guys, let me add Tom to the show. But love you guys, by the way, Luke and everybody that came in. If I missed you, oh hey homeless, what's up? Um, if I missed you guys, it just means I care about you more. All right, let me add Tom here. Hey Tom, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hey, yo, brother.
Good morning, my buddy.
How's it going?
Well, just same old, same old. We're all learning and growing. I mean, especially me. You know, I'm a
Yeah.
baby in all this.
Everybody should be growing, right? Never
That's
stop
it.
learning. Never stop learning.
You know, I think that like back before, I'll speak of myself. Like back in the day, right? Like if I was hanging out with a group of people, and like let's say like I kind of got exposed a little bit as far as like I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Like, not something bad, but just something I need to work on or whatever. Sometimes there's a temptation of never going back to that group again. Like, oh, forget those people, man. I'll start over somewhere new. But the reality is that we should face that and just recover and hang in there, and so I've done that many times, where you don't want to be vulnerable to everybody in the world. You're vulnerable to about 4 or 5 people, right? You open up and everything's out there or whatever, but anyway,
And
I
that's
just miss
everybody,
I just miss somebody. That's all. I miss my friend. Go ahead, buddy.
No, I was just saying. I mean, that's everybody's like that.
Yeah,
Everybody's vulnerable to a point. In some aspect of their life.
yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
So what was this thing that you were saying about that?
I'm gonna disprove gravity using the Bible.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
okay, so here it goes. So I was reading in Job. I've been going through Job for the last week or so. Let me pull up the verse. It's Job 37:16. This is when at the end when God's about to restore Job. Okay,
Yeah.
and he's asking Job a bunch of questions. In 37:16 it says, "Dost thou know the balancings of the clouds, the wondrous works of him which is perfect in knowledge?" So I looked up that word balancings in the Hebrew. That means to float or to hover. Okay. So
Yeah.
I wanted to take it a step further. Now I'm glad Faith joined in here because I'd like to see her maybe do a little minute or two video of this. So then I went to Google. Now listen to this, okay? Hopefully it'll come through my mic. So hang with me here. Google, what are clouds made of?
According to NASA, a cloud is made of water drops or ice crystals floating in the sky.
Did that come across?
Yep. Water drops or ice crystals floating in the sky.
Okay, now listen to this. Okay, Google, how much does a cloud weigh?
According to BBC Science Focus magazine, so cranking through the maths, that means that a typical cloud weighs around 1 million tons.
Okay, so you got 1 million tons of water floating in a cloud in the sky.
Wow.
I mean, okay, these clouds, they look puffy and airy like to us, but that's not actually what they are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. You got water floating in the sky weighing, I mean, the one time I did the search, it just said 1.1 million pounds, the average cloud. This one says 1 million tons. Which one is correct? It doesn't matter. If it weighs 5 pounds, it should
Right.
drop.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I
That's
just
right.
thought that really, because that balancing, I couldn't quite figure that word out. Why is it saying balancing? Well, he's got these clouds up there just floating and hovering in the sky that weigh 1 million pounds and they're water. They're made, you know what I'm saying? You can't
Mm.
deny that. Where's your gravity?
Well, and not only that, Tom, right? It brings up the point where, God said that the earth hangs on nothing, right?
Yep.
Well, I mean, it doesn't hang on gravity, right? Like, because you, I know that people use that verse, right, and say, "Oh yeah, look, the earth hangs on nothing," because there's nothing around it in their model, right? But the heliocentric model says that the earth is hanging on gravity, which is not true. It's disproven by the Bible,
And it has a foundation, it has pillars. Like
That's right.
it's asking you, how is it hanging? How is it sitting there? What are the pillars on? Nobody knows. We're never going to know until we get up out of this joint.
That's right. That's right. And what's funny to me, right, is people will think that it's absurd, that we're in some kind of snow globe on pillars, right? But yet being on a flying water ball in a vacuum is perfectly easy for them to understand that you're walking upside down on a water. It's not a rock. You know how you picture Earth as one big rock. Well, they're saying it's a water ball, man. It's 70% of the surface is water, and it's got a little crust on it, and and they're saying that's what we live on. It's absurd. We're not flying around at breakneck speeds, man, in 12 different directions or whatever. actually 4 orbital motions and 11 vectors. That's ridiculous, right?
The only time the Earth moves is when it quakes.
Yeah.
You
I
know what I'm
mean,
saying?
if you walk by your water, right, that you got glass of water on the table and you bump it, there'll be ripples in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're saying that or they're saying that we're flying around it, I mean, we're talking thousands of times faster than a bullet, right? And nothing's happening to my water at all. It's just perfectly smooth. It's unbelievable.
And think about trying to land a plane on a north-south bound runway. Just picture that in your head. What would happen?
Yeah, it's so crazy. Think of,
Go stand outside in 20, 30-mile-hour winds. Just
you would
imagine
die.
1,000 miles an hour
I know it. I know
coming
it.
across, cut you, crossways at you with those big wings hanging out there.
So I was asking this guy, right, about. I said, well, so when the airplane, right, takes off, right, opposite, towards the spin, right, how is it keeping up with the spin, right? And he said, well, that's you got was it some kind of momentum? Wait, what was it called again? uh I don't know. They conserved the momentum from the Earth, and then took off, and it's going another 500,000 miles an hour, right? This is what they're saying, right? It's going 1,000 miles an hour, and then it takes off going 500 miles an hour, right? If you can follow, right? And I go, well, what happened? Like, what about if it takes a U-turn? Like,
Exactly. While it's on
because
the ground.
Right, I've seen airplanes go back and forth at air shows all the time. Like, where's all this conserved momentum and all this crap?
Oh,
It's just
the
so
answer to that,
weird.
too, don't you, Steve?
It's not real.
No, gravity.
Gravity, yeah.
We just did away with gravity just a minute ago. And
I
Faith is
just
going to
think
do a really
so.
good video on that. Only take her a minute or two. She'll make a
It
good
is.
one and put it up there, right, Faith?
That would be good, Faith.
I
That would
know.
be a good video. Start doing flat Earth stuff or whatever.
And
Because I.
the verse is Job 37:16. The Hebrew
Oh
word
yeah.
the Hebrew word is miplas, like MIPLAS, which means floating or hovering. And then
She
you can
did
just
it.
have. She does great little videos.
She did a good video on the one I liked was the one with the MLK being Moloch or whatever.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought that was a pretty good one.
yeah.
It's hard looking at all that symbolism to me though, but you got to expose it.
Sometimes I don't always understand her videos, but I watch them all. As soon as she's got a new one out there, I'm in the first 5 or 6 people to watch them usually.
Right, right.
Gotta support her.
You
Anybody
know
in there,
who
I'll
I
support.
absolutely anybody puts a video out. I watch. There's Big Pig Slapper Oink in there. I thought he was a troll at first, right? But I watch his videos, man. I'll tell you what, that's a wise old man right there. That's a wise
Oh,
old man.
I'll have to get to
And
his
then
channel.
I would watch Luke's channel all the time. And he puts out a video once in a while. Raven puts out videos every day. You know, um, I'm trying to think who else put. Oh, Shannon puts out good videos. She's got chickens and stuff like that. Illuminati chickens. But yeah, because I'm like my head automatically sees all this symbolism, right? Like, the color orange and one eye symbolism, and all this stuff sticks out to me. Not that it's someone's doing it on purpose or not, but it like sticks out in my head. And so sometimes I feel like I'm being too harsh on people because I'm like, oh, I see this is not in your video or whatever. Or if someone shares a video with me and I'll be like, oh yeah, well, I see this and this. It doesn't mean that like the video is bad or anything like that. It just means, be aware of these things, because that's how they talk. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I get a lot of information from a lot of people that I think are like kind of shilly. But like, now we're at the point where everyone's like that. I mean, who can you really recommend?
Yeah, I don't know anymore because I'm only sub to about 15 people right now. Once I lost that channel, man, I can't remember anybody I was
Oh
sub to.
yeah, that's right. It's tough to figure that out, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, that must be the hardest part.
Oh, it sucks, dude.
Well, what about like, see, I miss people like Dave J. Remember Dave J?
I don't.
Oh man, he's he's like a literal genius. Like his brain is messed up. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like he's kind of like Pete Shea, but he's like more focused and more of a genius. And he's a Christian.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. And then like so he like does these videos about um like how everything was created, and like, oh yeah, you gotta watch it. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Hey, before I forget, Steve, who you got this Saturday night?
Oh, for the football game, huh?
Uh-huh.
So like,
What
yeah.
Come on now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really a football guy anymore, but I do follow it because my family they follow it still. So I don't know, man. The Niners, man, look good.
Who are you playing, baby?
Well,
Who are you
I'll say
playing?
this:
Come on.
the best player on the field is probably Aaron Rodgers, and Debo's a close second, but but I think the 49ers will win.
If they do, you know why they're going to win? They're going to run
Uh-uh.
it right down their throat. Green Bay has a hard time stopping the run.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. If we have Mo start back, then it'll be a blessing because our number one running back um got hurt the first day of the season, and then he was gonna be available, but then he got COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I just said the magic word now, and then now I guess he'll be back for this game. Hopefully, who knows, man? Who knows? We'll see, right?
Yeah, they only have to sit out 5 days now because that special little
5 days?
invisible bug, the invisible bug now knows after 5 days it can't go get nobody. Used to be 10, they dropped it to 5 days now.
Well, they said okay, so they said if you don't get the toxication, right, the jab, if
Special
you don't
sauce.
get that, right, then you're a domestic terrorist, right? This is what they're calling people now.
So yeah,
Domestic terror. Now they're calling people that because an intoxicated person can give a toxicated person the V, right? Well, so could the jabbed guy can give it to the non-jabbed guy.
and that's what's happening.
But it's both ways, right? So how are you going to say
And it's all fake anyways.
it's all just a big freaking fake mess, man? It's
Just
just unbelievable,
a
How
scandemic on
did
a massive scale, man.
how did people fall for this, man? I mean, if people just looked at Event 201 and Koch postulates or coach postulates, right?
Yeah.
If you just look at those two things, right, alone, you would know that this is not real and
And
it's
I
all nefarious.
had a guy in here yesterday told me one of the most heartbreaking stories I've heard to date because he witnessed it firsthand when um just a relative, let's say, like extremely close, like one that would give birth to you,
Yeah.
took the special sauce, and when she got the second special sauce, ended up with a stroke, and 9 days later, bye bye.
Wow.
Yeah, he said she suffered horrendously for 9 days, and him and his sister had to sit there by her bed, watch her go through this, while the hospital would do nothing for her.
Oh
No,
my God.
no. He come in so I could had to burn a bunch of music for the funeral on a flash drive for him. Friend of mine
Oh,
too.
wow, man.
Yeah.
Well, what gets me is that my friend Sharon, the one that they say she had it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I could just see them put, just for protocol, she does some kind of test and they do whatever they do, like what they think they're supposed to do. I can see them putting the apparatus on her and her suffering,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking that like I
So
don't
check
know,
this
man.
out. So I got a buddy
Yeah.
that's an RN,
Yeah.
and every day they gotta test people, staff. So a staff member come, he tested her. She tested positive and like in an active or something like that. It was like she's contagious right now, supposedly. So he went and reported her to whoever you would in the department, the health minister or whatever, whoever makes a decision. And it said, no, she's fine. She can work.
Oh, wow.
I mean, because they know it's just fake.
Yeah.
She should have been gone for 5 days, sent home. Oh, no, she's okay. She can work. I mean, come on now.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Just they give out both, like, they give out contradicting information, right? Like, even if you listen to everything they say, right, it's still so confusing because they're all saying the opposite thing, Oh yeah, these masks work and all this, and then they say, oh yeah, masks don't work really for this thing. Oh no, the best mask is this, right? And then they tell you it doesn't work again, and you're like, well, what are they saying,
Yeah, and if you want to see just how dangerous this special sauce is, go look at Hacking the Headlines. She just put out it's about a 10 and a half minute video
Yeah,
of all these
April.
people that are athletes that are dropping dead. And she only went through the last 30 days.
Oh, athletes?
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of them are soccer players, some tennis players, but yeah, that are just having heart attacks. Most of them that died on the spot on the field. I mean, people should go look at
Wow.
that. And she goes, this is only from the last 30 days, the newest of the 30 days that she could find. And she goes, obviously she could have went on for hours with it. And I've seen most of those videos, the clips that she has. I've seen most of those clips anyways, 'cause I always go to BitChute when I'm looking for stuff like that. But it's a interesting video, and she probably won't keep it up long because it'll probably get taken down. So a lot of times when she does videos like that, she'll put them up, and then 24 hours later she'll pull them so she doesn't get a strike or get her channel taken down.
Yeah, man, well, see, I always worry about things like that. Like, I mean, when you have a channel like that big, I mean, you can never build that back again, And
No,
so, like, I mean, it's really is like a huge risk, at this point for her to put all that stuff out,
hey,
And it's
thanks, Beef.
important. But it's important, right? I mean, it's important to put it all out there,
Doggone right it is.
And
People need to see what's really happening. That's
I
the
mean,
problem. No one wants to look. I mean, they just watched a 30-second soundbite on freaking CNN, and then that's their gold. Or their doctor tells them. That's the problem. Everybody listening to their doctor. These doctors aren't not God.
right. And then if you think about it like this, Tom, right? Like, I think with this situation, right, it being so if you were to be critical of this in any way, it would be very obvious, right, that this is bad, right? If someone is believing what's going on right now, I mean, you'd have to have really an IQ of like really, but like below
A gnat.
normal, like if you're an average adult with average intelligence and you're scrutinize this even a little bit, you would see it. Either that or it's just scales that God puts in front of your eyes, because to me it's obvious that this is not right.
Right. Right. It's easy to see the fraud.
It's easy to see that it's nefarious from the very beginning.
Right.
It's meant to hurt us. That's what I get out of it, is that how long. Okay, so let's for example, right, for everything to be in agreement worldwide and to get everything, the desired method and then everything delivered, right, would take far more than time than it has taken. Like, there would be so many dissenting opinions between countries, like, oh no, we're going to handle it our way, we're going to handle it our way, or whatever. You know, you're going to have different opinions, right? There was no dissenting opinion at all amongst these countries. I mean, very little, right? Like minor things, right? But they all agree with the jab, you know?
Well, you got to ask yourself. Just look when it first came out overseas, and them guys were running up and down the streets with that fog machine. What? How would they know what to even fog for? What were they spraying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, look how
Right.
fake that was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about in Wuhan.
Right. They're all spraying them when they're coming off the plane.
Well, no, when they were going down the streets of where people live by all these apartments and all this stuff, screaming at people to get back inside, and you got people in these hazmat suits running with this machine, rolling it down the sidewalk with this fog coming out of it, like they were spraying to kill something. You didn't see that?
No, no, I didn't see that. This is when like those
The first day
videos
it
where people,
happened.
like when they were like dying in the streets and all that stuff. Like,
No, I don't know if they were or not. I didn't see anybody dead in the street or nothing like
you know,
that.
like there were people just standing there and then all of a sudden just fall out and die right there on the street.
Could have
I've
been.
seen stuff like that.
Yeah, it could have been. But
I've
I mean,
seen
what
them
were they?
digging. I've seen them digging like mass graves, right, with
Well, this would be even
forklifts and all
before
that.
that. This would have been even
And
before they were doing that.
and then I seen them where like when people were coming off the airplane, they were squirting them with some kind of fog to kill
Yeah,
the germs on them or whatever when they're coming off airplanes.
right.
But I didn't see them running down the street with it or anything like that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
don't
was like
doubt.
the first day that was the
Yeah, I
first day
don't
it
doubt it.
happened because they were like spraying to kill the
Yeah,
imaginary bug. I mean, how would they know what to spray for?
I don't know, man.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden they just
That
started
they want us to believe someone ate some bat soup or something like that,
bat
and
poop.
then right, went to a wet market in China and ate some bat soup.
Unreal. And the
That's
people fall for it.
that's insane, man.
It's insane.
Uh, I I mean, at the very least, right? I'm trying to give people every benefit of the doubt, right? At the very least, everyone's got to be in a situation where they at least understand scrutiny. Because, like, here's the thing, right? Like, they'll tell you all day, right? Like, in the police, right? There's all this racism and all this kind of stuff, and there is some racism, right? But like, they'll tell you it's rampant, right? Okay, fair enough, right? But then when you say, well, hey, what about like how the government and medical people did the Tuskegee experiments? That was, horrible racism, right? Hurting people, killing people, right? And and you're saying that, that's a long time ago, it's all good now, right? So
Right.
how's it all cleaned up in the medical, but
And
it's
those
not
people
all cleaned up everywhere else,
and those people that are saying that and who did those experiments, they're the ones that are the racists. They're the ones that keep the racism going. They
Exactly.
because like when all this first started happening, they expected all these riots and all this stuff to go on and all this robberies and all this stuff. Nothing happened, so they had to start faking all these staged events because it wasn't the things they thought were going to happen, where people going crazy and killing people and burning down stores and stealing. None of that stuff happened until they made it happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
people
provoked
aren't
it.
as bad as they make us out to be. And,
That's
and I
right.
and I think it took them by shock that there wasn't more turmoil going on.
It's just unbelievable, man. I mean, look, we're one day, like every day I wake up, I know I'm one day closer to this thing being like,
Over.
yeah. And it's definitely weird. The only thing I really think about and grieve about, right, is that, there's people out there being victimized, of course, right, in any kind of way bothers me, right?
Right.
And then people not being like that are unsaved, right? Like I almost feel like if it's your decision and you say, you know what, I don't want it, well then okay, fair enough, right? Good luck with that, right? It's on you to make that decision, right? But for the people that like don't know the truth, right, about the world, and that are making that decision based on all lies, right? But they won't listen to the truth when you're trying to help them. That's very frustrating,
Absolutely.
and hurtful, because you just want them to get it,
And it's unbelievable that they don't. You know what I mean? It's just how people can't see through this, at least more. I mean, I understand a lot of people are dumb, just dumbed down, I should say. That's how I mean it. It's just
Yeah.
amazing that more people don't, 2 years in, don't really see what's actually happening.
Yeah, because if you never watched the television, right, nothing happened. Like
I
the
know.
people, the people that were dying, right? Um, you know, they tagged on an extra, cause, and then, I think there are people that went in there and got tested and were, maliciously hurt. That's what I think.
Yeah,
If
good
I'm being
possibility.
honest, it's my
Mhm.
opinion. And I think about that is like that. I mean, just think about how horrible that is. I mean, it's a ritual, right? It's like some kind of ritual. I mean, the
It is.
protocol is a ritual, and it's like I don't know what these people do to like purge their guilt and their fear and all that, but I know that they do, and I don't get into it because I'm not one of them, right? But there's no way I'd be able to live it myself, man. If I was one of these people, man, I couldn't do it.
Well, and like my buddy that's an RN, he's been lucky because he ended up taking a night position so he doesn't have to jab anybody. But
Yeah,
that's coming to an end in February, and he didn't get the jab. So in February, whenever that date is, he's going to have to get jabbed or lose his job. He's going to lose his job. He's
yeah.
not going to do it. I mean, so I mean, just the pressure and stress that they're putting on families and people just to make a living is just unbelievable. It's sickening what's happening. That's why I just don't think we can be here much longer. I just don't know how much God is going to allow Christians to go through before he comes and gets us. I wish I had that answer.
Well, and then Ray of Sunshine's talking about and then they come at us with this Mandela, right? Like this, all the Bible's changing, oh this is changing, oh that's changing, right? Trying to take our only truth and just, I
My
mean,
Bible hasn't changed yet, though.
right, but this is what they'll say, right? Oh my God. So I was watching, sometimes I'll watch like people speak against some of these like Jehovah's Witnesses or against like the different religions, right? To see the how they use scripture to um indoctrinate people or whatever. Like people that use scripture as a weapon, right? And so I was watching Santos Bonacci, who's probably full of demons, this guy. I mean,
Right.
but he's got good information, right? But he is what he is, right? And he's admitted that he's a astrotheologist, whatever. Fair enough, right? That's his choice. But he can't disprove the Bible, so he has to accept it as being real. But he says that everything in it is not literal. But like he couldn't get to the point where he could disprove it, right? So they had to accept it and adopt it at the very core level.
And that's like,
The
if you
Bible
take
has
it
always been there.
right, and that's like people who say some of it's figurative, some is literal. How do you know which is which? I mean, it's all literal to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone can pick and choose on what's real and what isn't real in it.
I
I mean,
mean,
just think
unless
of
they
the mess
tell
you'd
you,
have.
right?
Yeah, I mean, just think of the mess you'd have if that's really how it was.
Right.
I
They're
mean,
usually pretty clear when it's something is symbolic. Like if they say like, "Oh, he
oh,
stretched
sure.
this out like a tent," then that's what they mean. He stretched it out like a tent. But
And
but
he literally stretched it out though, like a tent.
right, exactly. So when they're being figurative, they are obvious about it, right? And then I think what people want to do, right, is they'll say, okay, well, stars and angels or lampstands in churches, and all these things, right? Then they want to say, oh yeah, well, everything is like that, and it's all symbolic and all spiritual, right? And I mean, it's just what a big mistake. What a big mistake that is. Because why would God put these words in? The only words we're gonna have, right? From Him, and why would He put them in there if it was all subjective and figurative and not literal?
Right.
And how would we be able to trust it or lean on it or
You
whatever?
cou-
How
you
would we
couldn't
know?
you couldn't trust any of it if that was the case. None of it.
If one sentence was corrupt in there,
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't be able to. It wouldn't be the truth anymore. It would be something
Absolutely.
else.
Because one sentence changes the whole thing.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, and I was thinking about this the other day, right? Think about like, this AI, how it's like it keeps reprogramming, right? So like AI rewrites a program, and then that AI rewrites the other program to make it better and better and better and better. I mean, far beyond what we could ever do, right? Like we can make the first one, but like it's making improvements on itself, like back and forth, And so this thing is going to be like exponentially like crazy, the amount of like information and stuff from this thing, this metaverse or whatever, this AI that's out there right now. If you look at that, the complete inverted opposite, right? I mean, this is what the devil's coming at us with, is this like big thing full of all the knowledge in the world, right? And versus a book,
Right.
and it's just so poetic, man. You know what I mean? It's like the complete inversion, right? And we win.
Yes, we do. Victory is
And
ours. Because victory's in Christ. We get our victory through Him.
that's it. I'm glad you said that. I'm
And it's
glad you
coming
said that.
soon. It's coming soon
Oh man,
to a city near you.
I am ready, man, because I'm not in any way like I know that we're secure in our salvation, and that's because of Jesus, right? And I know that most likely every day, I'm not gonna try to overtly sin, right? But I'm always like not in fear as like in like any kind of paranoid feeling, but in reverence, right? And out of respect for God, right? I'm afraid of any little slip up, like that. I just want him to get back before that next mistake I make,
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if it's a small one,
Right. And we make them every day.
we
Everybody
do.
does. That's where a Christian just needs to realize too that you're always going to be a sinner, but we strive not to. And when we're convicted, we repent and change our ways, and but we're always going to have to trust in Christ to get to every single minute of every day.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ray of Sunshine's right about that. That Mandela effect is easily disproven.
Right.
I mean, it's that would be crazy to think that reality is changing, right? And I think that them putting that out there is huge psyop, like just a
Absolutely.
huge psychological attack on Christians.
Well, sure, because now you can't even trust your own Bible. That's what it comes down to. You're going to trust and have belief in something that keeps changing?
Yeah,
LOL, Faith.
I know it. Well, hey, but it's good, Faith, to put those out there, right? Like those videos there. I think it's a good idea. I don't know.
And it's so simple. Because people say the Bible doesn't say anything about gravity. Well, yes, it does. It doesn't say anything about flat Earth. Yes, it does. And that'll be the next mission I'll give to Faith.
Exactly.
But
Well,
yeah,
I love
I
it
mean,
when people say, well, what does it matter? I said, well, it's on the first page of the Bible.
get
I
her
mean, I
gold.
think it matters, right? like the sun was created on the fourth day, right? That's important to know because we know it, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, so light first was light, right? And then anyway, but it's like all these things are important, right? Like being able to stop the sun or stars being able to fall out of the sky and land on Earth, right? These things, you know,
And he
are
didn't
going to
even
happen and have to
just
make sense, you know?
and he didn't even just stop the sun, he moved it backwards.
Right, right.
I mean, think about it. Just think what would happen if we were on a Earth flying at, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and he stops it and starts spinning it backwards. There'd be nothing left hanging on it. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Everything
man.
would go flying off.
Right, right.
And it's just like creation. I
Yeah.
mean, there's only one thing he didn't create out of dust. No one even knows that. No pastors speak on that. Woman, the only thing that wasn't made out of dirt.
Yeah.
She was taken right out of a man, right from by his heart. I mean,
Yeah.
that stuff's huge to understand the significance of that.
Someone related the other day, right? Someone, I think it was, Kay Stover last night, right? He was saying that, so the woman came out of Adam's rib, right? And that's right where Jesus was pierced, and he made that connection. I forget how he made that connection, but it was like, it was like so beautiful, because Jesus was pierced in like near his rib.
Right. Well,
And
absolutely. Got
so
pierced in the side.
him and Adam had the same scar.
It could be possible. I like that.
It's amazing, huh?
Can't prove that, but I like that. That's a good teaching right there.
Because like Jesus was supposed to be like the another Adam, right? Like,
Right.
you know, and of course way better, right? But like without sin, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's interesting that they had the same scar.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility.
I would like to see that. I bet Adam was a lot bigger though, right? A lot taller and it's a lot stronger, just bigger.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, they were probably good sized people.
And then we're like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's why we're smaller or not, or I think it's just after the flood is why everything dies earlier and is smaller and stuff, just because of the water quality, the oxygen quality, stuff like that. I think,
Yeah.
because like the
Well,
animals and the bugs and insects that lived way before the flood could never breathe in today's atmosphere.
yeah, maybe, yeah, because it changes, right? The
It changed
air
after the flood.
content
Yeah.
is worse. Yeah,
Everything got smaller and died off younger after the flood.
yeah. And then poisoning us is not helping.
No, that doesn't help much at all. No.
Eating Big Macs or whatever won't help you.
Yeah, I don't do any of that anymore. I put all that
I mean,
away.
what's crazy is like that. It like that to me doesn't even sound good to eat a Big Mac, right? Not even in the least, right? But at one point in my life, right, I would be in line getting a Big Mac, and they'd be like, this is good, man. Maybe
I
even
ain't
go
gonna
up and get
lie.
another one.
I could go for a Big Mac right about now, but I won't do it.
Oh no, not anymore.
No, I
It
won't
just
do
doesn't
it.
appeal to me anymore. I used to love those McRibs, man. That's probably the worst thing on earth.
I never had one of those.
Oh, I was addicted to them, man. I'm glad that they made it seasonal, man, because I at some point, right, I was like, I don't know, 17 or 18. I was just just a kid, right? And I used to eat those every day, man. Every day I had one at least.
Wow.
For like I don't know, a long time, as long as they were out. And then when they made them seasonal, right? I almost I felt better immediately. So there was something wrong with because they had. I know that there was sugar in it somehow, and it was just the worst thing on earth, right? But
Yeah, I mean, I used to like their French fries too, but now last time I had them, I mean, they taste just like rubbery plastic.
yeah,
You know, I mean, none of it tastes good anymore.
I bet if you put those French fries on a shelf, they'll be good in a month. They still look the same. Just heat them up.
And probably still warm.
Oh, that's so crazy, man. I
Yeah,
used to
no,
love that stuff. What happens inside of us where we stop craving that kind of food or whatever? Like I don't know, man. Like
understanding of what you're actually eating.
yeah, yeah. I don't eat a lot of meat, right? Like very little, but I'm not a vegetarian. You
Oh,
know what I mean? Like
I'm meat and
I still
potatoes all the
crave
way.
meat. Mm-hmm.
Meat and potatoes all the way, baby.
Right. I could eat that way all the time. It would be a different kind. Like now, if I change my diet even a little bit, I feel a difference, right? So I'm trying to add things and take away things to be more healthy, right? Make sure I have greens every day, right? Because I have my little scoop of greens. I know that it's not very appealing, right? But it's like I'm trying to get all my nutrients,
Mm-hmm.
And I just view eating as something that I just gotta do. I gotta get it out of the way. And maybe I could spend time enjoying that or whatever, but I'm just not the type of person that really cares about that.
No, I hear you.
But I just want to be healthy and I want to be able to still do this for try to reach as many people as possible.
Yeah, and like I don't go to the extreme healthy eating, but I mean, I try to eat the best quality of anything I can get. You know, I
Yeah.
try to stay as much away as I can from junk food and stuff, and fast food. I don't do any at all. I don't do pop at all. Just water and milk, and I try to get organic milk, but I wish I could
Yeah.
get raw milk, but I just can't find it anywhere.
Yeah. Well, now they make milk out of everything, right? Like almond milk and
Yeah, I'd like to see
yeah.
someone milk a almond once.
Right.
Show me
They-
that. You know what I'm
It's like,
saying?
oh, it's like, oh man, they got wood milk in here, man. I love
Yeah,
wood milk.
yeah.
Pine cone milk, man. But man, it is yeah, I pray over everything now,
Me
man. Just
too. Me too. And
forget
with
it
much more meaning now than I used to.
much more.
Just knowing
I,
not knowing what's in what I'm eating. You know.
I mean, drinking water, right, is a huge risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It
like,
is.
God, please let me. I drink it right out of the tap too, because I figure if I can't do it, distill it, right? If I can't do that, then there's always going to be something in it. I just
Yeah,
gonna pray, and then I know that I don't know. I just feel like it's enough when I pray. I don't know why.
I do filter my water, but I am having a reverse osmosis tank put in. That
I'm
should,
gonna, yeah, go ahead.
just for making coffee and drinking and stuff like that. You know, I mean, you only get about 2 gallons out of whack out of this stuff, and it takes a long time to make it. You know, but if you're just using it for drinking water and for my coffee and stuff like that, I figure that's just one more benefit. You know, one less day of cancer.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's my next move is I'm gonna start drinking better water, and I think that I have two psych meds left that I gotta take, right? That I'm trying to come off of, right? And it's my serotonin reuptake ones, right? And if I can come off of those, then I'm gonna be feeling so much better about myself. Because I got myself. I mean, so I went on a pancake binge or whatever. But most of the time, I mean, I cut sugar out, right? And no coffee, I only drink water, right? No cigarettes anymore. And it's like I'm finally narrowing it down, and I'm not that we got to do this, right? No, nobody has to do this, but I just don't want anything in my body anymore from them.
Right,
And
right.
it's not out of paranoia or fear. It's just I just don't want their crap anymore.
And just
You
knowing
know,
you're taking in poison. I mean, then your
well,
body's got to fight to get rid of it. I mean,
even if they were giving me vitamins, I don't want it from them.
right,
I just want God to like you know what? There was a plan already, and I want to go with that plan. Plan A.
right.
And so I want to go where we could be um incorruptible, where I could give my will and my life to God so that I can't sin anymore, you know?
Right.
You know, and like I know the trolls take that, right? When you say stuff like that, the trolls take that as like, oh yeah, see, they sin every day or whatever. I mean that's not true, but like when you truly know, right, what a human being is, right? You're always worried of that, right? Like whether you try to sin or don't sin or whatever or not, right? There's always that like that knowledge of knowing that you're not perfect, you know? That we can't do it like Jesus did it, right? As much as we try, and I try every day to be like him, right? But I fail miserably every day, you know? And one day we're gonna be able to serve him in the right way, you know?
Right. Right.
And
One day.
that's exciting, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And we're,
Absolutely.
and we're gonna be bright like the sun.
You know, the thing is, there isn't a lot of information on what heaven's going to be like, but we just look
Yeah.
at it like this. When you look at this world he gave us to live as wretched sinners, just imagine when we're perfect, how beautiful and how awesome the world's going to be when we live when we're perfect. You know what I
Oh,
mean? I mean, it's going to be just mind blowing, you know. I mean, I wish there was more in the Bible about what we're going to be doing and what heaven's like and stuff like that. But I think it's, I mean, obviously, if you gave us this life and we, you know, a lot of us really enjoy and love the life we have, the families we have, just think how much more perfect it's going to be when it's actually heaven, you know?
yeah. It's gonna be so great.
Going to be phenomenal.
I mean, I think about like creation, like God could have made us anything, a tree, a squirrel,
right?
anything, right? He made us like the best thing we could be, right? Like other than being God, right? He made us even above the angels, you know, as far as being on the pedestal, you know?
We're going to judge them.
That's so humbling, man, when you think about it, you know? And you know, because they were made out of a better chemistry than us, right? You know, like we're made of dirt. I think they're made of water, right? Or air, or I can't remember how it worked. I think air.
I have no idea. I never heard that.
I know they're made out of something better, and then they don't die, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a different class, that's for sure. I mean, of creation.
Physically they're better, right? But once we're out of this flesh, we'll be, I don't know, I just can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's kind of awesome to think about, though. But I mean, to fully understand all that, I don't. You know,
See what Ray is saying right here? She's like, we're more valuable than we realize.
absolutely.
And I believe that there's really not that many of us. And it's by choice. It's people have the opportunity to go or not, you know?
Everybody does. Yep.
And
Yep.
I think that like if they want to seek God in an honest way, they'll find him.
He won't turn his back on anybody that's looking for him.
That's right. That's right. All right, I better round out. I love this conversation though.
Phenomenal.
You know, it is, man, because like we're descendants of God, you know?
Yeah, and I got a message for Faith. Get busy, girl. I want that video done today.
Right, yeah. Have that done by 5 o'clock,
Yeah,
you know?
well, come on,
Yeah,
girl. I'm
yeah,
gonna make you famous.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, God bless you, and praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace, and all glory to God because he deserves it, right? He deserves it. Oh, that's right. I forgot to say it. It's time to hit the old dusty trail. But yeah, just praise Jesus really for everything, right? For redeeming us.
Amen.
And that's what we're here for, is to speak highly of God, because you know the image of God out there in the world is not as good as it needs to be, right? And there's still some sheep out there, and we got to get them. All right,
Peace out, everybody. Love
pray for
y'all.
the children. See you later. Bye.